What if I told you that there's one silent move, one subtle shift that could make people respect you more, chase your presence, and even fear losing you? Imagine a life where you're no longer begging for attention, no longer putting in all the effort just to be seen, heard, or appreciated. Imagine walking into a room and commanding respect without saying a word, people leaning in to talk to you, checking their phones, wondering why you haven't replied yet. Sounds powerful, doesn't it? But here's the catch. Most people never feel that power. Why? Because they fall into a trap that makes them look weak, needy, and replaceable. But today, I'm going to teach you a psychological technique so simple, yet so effective, that once you use it, you'll notice people treating you differently, instantly. So stay with me till the end, because this isn't just another tip or trick. This is a mindset shift. This is about taking back control and becoming the person they never want to lose. The problem: why most people lose respect over time. Respect doesn't disappear all at once. It fades, quietly, slowly. You don't go from being valued to being ignored overnight. It happens little by little, every time you send that double text, every time you over-explain, every time you're the first one to reach out, again. And the worst part, you don't even realize it until it's too late. People often believe that being more available, more giving, more open will make others appreciate them. But in reality, it does the opposite. Here's what happens. You're always the one texting first. You're always available, even when they're not. You cancel plans to accommodate them. You chase their validation. You never challenge them, never create space. And while you think you're being supportive or strengthening the bond, you're actually killing the mystery, lowering your value, and teaching people to take you for granted. Human psychology is built this way. We don't value what we can always have. We value what we're afraid to lose. Take a moment and think. When was the last time you truly appreciated something you always had? Like the air you breathe. You don't, because it's always there. That's how people start treating you when you're always accessible, constant, predictable, easy. So the question becomes, how do you reverse that? How do you regain the respect that's been slipping away? You're about to learn the most powerful yet underrated move in psychology: strategic absence, the shift, understanding the power of absence. Here's where everything begins to change. Most people think attention equals affection. They believe that the more effort they show, the more love, respect, and loyalty they'll receive. But the truth is, the more accessible you are, the more people devalue you. Let's break it down with real-life examples. You text someone every morning, and now they don't even reply until hours later. You're always there to help a friend, but they don't show up when you need them. You give your time freely, and people treat it like it's cheap. Why? Because you've trained them that you're always available. You've taught them that they don't need to try to earn your time, your energy, your presence. Here's a truth bomb. Scarcity creates value. Think about high-end brands. Think about VIP access. Think about rare collectibles. They're all desirable because they're limited, rare, or hard to get. Now ask yourself this. Why wouldn't the same logic apply to you? When you're always present, always responsive, always saying yes, you become ordinary in their eyes. But the moment you step back, quietly, without explanation, you activate a powerful psychological response. This is where strategic absence comes in. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about shifting the dynamic. It's about creating tension, curiosity, and value. Not by what you say, but by what you no longer do. The move. Strategic absence. Explained now, let's talk about the exact move that shifts everything. It's called strategic absence. And it works because it flips the script. Instead of being the one chasing, initiating, proving, you become the one who withdraws. Silently, confidently, and without drama. Here's what that looks like in action. A. Stop initiating first. If you're always the one texting, calling, or making plans, it's time to stop. Let them feel your absence. Let them wonder, why haven't they reached out? Did I do something wrong? Are they losing interest? Those questions create tension, and tension creates desire. Now, some people won't reach out, and that's a gift, because it shows you who never valued you in the first place. But others, they'll start chasing, because they're not used to the silence. They're used to you being there, and now they're scared you won't be. B. Delay your responses. If you're always replying instantly, start slowing down. Take a few hours, even a day, not out of pettiness, but because your time isn't up for grabs anymore. That space makes people think. It creates a sense of mystery. They start imagining what you're doing, and more importantly, who you're doing it with. This is subtle power. You haven't said a word, but suddenly, you're the one in control. C. Disappear without explanation. This is the boldest move, and the most effective. Don't argue, don't announce, don't justify, just pull back, quietly. One day you're engaging, available, present. The next, you're not, and you offer no explanation. That absence. It makes people reflect. It forces them to confront the impact of your presence by making them feel what it's like without it. And here's the secret. The human brain hates uncertainty. So when you vanish, their mind fills in the blanks with worry, regret, guilt, and desire. 5. Why strategic absence works. The psychology behind it. Let's dig into the science behind why this works so powerfully. Humans are wired to want what they can't have, or at least what feels like it might be slipping away. There are 3 core psychological principles at play here. A. The scarcity principle. We value things that are rare or becoming rare. When your presence becomes less frequent, people subconsciously start to see you as more valuable. It's like how a discontinued item suddenly becomes everyone's obsession, even if they didn't care about it before. B. The Zeigarnik effect. This is a psychological phenomenon where people remember unfinished business more than things that are complete. If you pull back without closure, the other person's brain will keep returning to you. They'll replay your last message, your last hangout, trying to figure out what changed. This open loop keeps you in their mind longer and stronger than if you had stayed present. C. Dopamine and uncertainty. When people don't know when or if you'll respond, it creates emotional spikes. That anticipation releases dopamine, the same chemical tied to addiction. You become a source of unpredictable reward, and their brain starts craving interaction with you because it's not guaranteed. 6. How to use it correctly without looking manipulative. Let's be clear, this is not a game. It's a strategy rooted in self-respect. The goal is not to make people beg, chase, or suffer. It's about shifting the balance so that you're no longer overextending yourself and people begin to value you properly. Here's how to use strategic absence without being toxic. Do it with elegance, not ego. You're not ghosting. You're not playing games. You're simply removing yourself from spaces where you feel taken for granted. Don't explain. The moment you explain your absence, you give up your power. Let silence do the talking. Let your distance speak louder than words. Do it as an act of clarity, not revenge. This isn't punishment. It's not manipulation. It's a reset. A way to find out who values your energy without you constantly offering it. If they notice your absence and step up, that's great. If they don't, that's even better. You've just identified dead weight. 7. When and where to use this. You don't have to disappear from everyone and everything. This is not about becoming a loner or isolating yourself. Here's when strategic absence works best. In relationships where you're doing all the work. In friendships where you're only called when they need something. In family dynamics where your kindness is mistaken for weakness. In workplace settings where your effort is overlooked. You're not ghosting. You're not cutting people off. You're creating distance, so the right people move closer and the wrong ones fade away. 8. What happens after you pull back? Here's what to expect once you make your move. A. Some people will panic. They'll feel the shift, and suddenly you'll see more effort, more messages, more just checking in texts. Why? Because your absence created emotional pressure. It made them question their behavior. B. Some people will go cold. They won't reach out, they'll act like they don't care. And that's okay, because that's data. It tells you everything you need to know about how they really felt. It saves you months or years of trying to prove your worth to someone who never saw it. C. You'll regain your power. You'll start feeling lighter, more focused, and more in control. You'll stop pouring energy into people who never deserved it. And that energy, you can now invest it into yourself, your goals, your peace, your growth. 9. How this transforms. Your strategic absence isn't just about changing how others see you. It's about changing how you see yourself. When you stop chasing, stop explaining, and stop overgiving, something amazing happens. You begin to respect your own boundaries. You realize that your time, your love, your attention, they're luxury items, not clearance rack giveaways. You don't need to beg for validation. You become your own source of power. 10. Final words. Disappear to be remembered. Sometimes, the loudest message is silence. And the most powerful move is to step back. Not to punish, not to manipulate, but to protect your peace and force people to confront the truth. Your presence was a privilege. Your energy was a gift. And your absence? That's what finally made them realize it. So if you're tired of being overlooked, overused, or underappreciated, don't explain, don't beg, don't prove, just vanish and watch how everything changes.